He humiliated her in front of everyone, told her to know her place, called her worthless, and she said nothing, because people like her were never meant to fight back. But seconds later, the most powerful man in the room went completely still, because the maid he had just crushed was wearing the one thing he had spent years trying to forget. The ballroom shimmered like a world untouched by struggle. Crystal chandeliers spilled golden light across polished marble floors, while soft music drifted through the air, blending with the quiet laughter of the powerful. Every detail whispered wealth. And moving silently through it all was Elena Voss. At 26, she had mastered invisibility, not out of weakness but survival. Her uniform was spotless, her posture perfect, her expression calm. Her eyes remained lowered, not in submission but in habit. It was safer that way. Tonight was supposed to be simple. Serve. Stay unnoticed. Live. But one mistake changed everything. Balancing a silver tray of wine glasses, Elena moved carefully between guests. Every step was measured, every movement controlled. Then, a man stepped back. Too fast. She didn't see him in time. The tray tilted. Time slowed as the glasses slipped, and deep red wine spilled across a pristine white tuxedo. The music didn't stop, but the room did. Silence spread. Elena froze. Slowly, the man looked down at his chest, at the stain blooming like a wound. Then he lifted his gaze. Damien Cole. At 32, he was a man people feared more than admired. Everything about him was sharp. His features, his gaze, his presence. He carried power like it was part of his skin. And now, his eyes were on her. Do you have any idea what this tuxedo costs? His voice was quiet. That made it worse. I'm sorry, sir. It was an accident. An accident. He repeated it slowly like the word offended him. A faint ripple of laughter moved through the crowd. Damien stepped closer. I don't care about your apology, he said coldly. I care that people like you, people who can't even handle the one job they're given, end up in places like this and ruin everything they touch. More laughter. Soft. Cruel. Elena felt the heat rise in her chest, but her face didn't change. Clean it up, he continued, and tell whoever hired you not to send me people who don't know their place. There it was. Her place. She didn't argue. Didn't cry. She knelt and began picking up the broken glass, her hand steady despite the storm inside her. She had endured worse. Much worse. But something about the certainty in his voice. It stayed. When she stood to leave, his hand caught her wrist. Firm. Sudden. She stilled. And then she saw it. His expression had changed. The cold arrogance cracked, just slightly, because he was staring at her hand. At the ring. A thin silver band, slightly bent with a small blue stone. One. Forgettable. But not to him. His grip loosened. His brows pulled together. Something flickered in his eyes. Recognition. Distant. Uncertain. But real. Elena gently pulled her hand away. Excuse me, sir. And she walked off. But Damien didn't move, because for the first time in years, something had shaken him. That night, long after the gala ended, Damien sat alone in his office. Not thinking about the investors. Not thinking about the embarrassment. Only the ring. A cheap, meaningless ring. And yet, it wouldn't leave his mind. He leaned back, exhaling slowly. He had buried his past long ago. Replaced it with control. Discipline. Power. But now, pushed back. And suddenly, he wasn't in his office anymore. He was 12 again. Cold. Hungry. Alone. The courtyard was gray and unforgiving. He sat behind the kitchen, knees pulled to his chest, lips split from a fight he hadn't won. He didn't cry. He had learned not to. Then, footsteps. He looked up, and there she was. A girl with tired eyes and quiet strength. Elena. She held out half a bread roll and a bruised apple. I saw what they did, she said. He looked away. I don't need pity. I'm not pitying you, she replied, sitting beside him. You're hungry. She placed the bread in his hand. And for the first time in days, he ate. That was how it started. Not with something grand. Just kindness. She kept coming back. On the bad days. On the quiet days. She never asked for anything. She just stayed. And slowly, he stopped feeling alone. One evening, as the air turned cold, Damien pulled something from his pocket. A small ring. I found this, he said awkwardly. It's not much. But when I grow up, I'll come back for you. She blinked. What? I'll find you, he said more firmly now. And I'll make sure you never go without anything again. She studied him. Then smiled. A real smile. You don't have to promise that. I know, he said. I want to. She slipped the ring onto her finger. And just like that, a promise was made. 3 weeks later he was adopted. And he never saw her again. The next morning, Damien made a decision he couldn't explain. He requested her. By name. When Elena arrived at his house, she felt it immediately. The tension. The weight of his gaze. He watched her, not with interest but with something deeper. Recognition. Confusion. Maid. She avoided him. He kept finding her. Until finally. Elena. She turned. Yes, sir? Where did you grow up? In Care. Which one? She hesitated. Why does it matter? He stepped closer. Hartwell House. Her heart stopped. How do you know that? Before he could answer, another voice cut in. Victoria. Sure. Cold. And the moment shattered. The truth didn't unfold gently. It crashed. Victoria had seen the ring before. In a photo. In a memory Damien had never shared. And now it was on the hand of a maid. You need to leave, Victoria said. I've done nothing. You exist, she replied coldly. That's enough. Then Damien walked in. And everything changed. His gaze moved between them. Then dropped to Elena's hand. To the ring. And finally. I gave that to you. Silence fell. Heavy. Unavoidable. Elena stared at him. What? He stepped closer, his voice quieter now. Behind the kitchen. You gave me bread. You stayed when no one else did. Recognition hit her. But it didn't bring warmth. It brought pain. You told me to know my place, she said softly. The words landed harder than anything else. Because they were true. I'm sorry, he said. But she shook her head. No. You don't get to say that and fix everything. Her voice didn't break. That made it worse. I kept that ring because I believed you, she continued. Because I thought I mattered. You do. But you didn't come back. Silence. I needed someone to come back, she whispered. And then, she walked away, leaving him standing there. With all his power, all his wealth. And nothing that actually mattered. If you were Elena, would you forgive him? If this story touched you, don't forget to like the video. And subscribe for more emotional, unforgettable stories.